this is Ananya and today we will be starting with sorting in Python. We have seen two methods in searching, that is linear search and binary search, and for now I think that should be enough, and let's concentrate on sorting now. Our first method, which is one of the simplest ones, is bubble sort. Now let's see how we can go about that. Let's say we have an array. For now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a small one. Let's say now that we have to sort it, I'm just going to take random numbers. Let's take 99, 33, and let's take another one. Let's say 66. Okay. Now this is our array which we want to sort. Now this isn't actually the most efficient method of sorting, but we'll be getting into time complexity sometime later on. Let's just concentrate on learning the algorithms for the moment. Now let's say you have got this array, and now how does bubble sort actually work? Imagine you start with the first two elements, okay? That is 7 and 1 needs to be compared. So when you compare it, you see that 7 is greater than 1, right? And hence you swap it. So what you get as the end result is basically 1, then 7, 99, 33, 66. Now considering the number 7 again. Why 7? Because we are considering our first value to be 7 itself, right? We take hold of whatever is there in the first place, that is at the 0th position. Now you compare 7 and 99. Since 7 is less than 99, no change. After we are done checking with 7 and 99, let's go ahead with 99 and 33. Okay. There's a difference, right? 33 is less than 99. Hence, we swap it. So, our temporary new array becomes 1, 7, 33, 99, and 66. Next, you compare 99 and 66. What do you get? You've got to swap it, right? And hence, your new array becomes 1, 7, 33, 66, 99. And here is the interesting part. At the end of each binary search iteration, sorry, not binary search, I keep forgetting we've come to sorting. In bubble sort, after each pass, we get the highest value. Okay, so for the first pass gets over, we get the highest value which gets situated at the end. In the second pass or the second iteration, we get the second highest number and so on. Okay, second highest. And that's basically it. That's how it works. Now, it won't stop here, alright? It'll go ahead. It'll again start with 1 and 7. Let me just write it here. Now, since this array is already sorted, you will not be able to see any change. But here's the thing. Let me just show it to you. 1 and 7 again gets okay, is that too low? Alright. Now 1 and 7 again gets compared. Nothing happens. Next, 7 and 33 get compared. Just a minute. 7 and 33 get compared. Nothing happens. 33 and 66, no change. And that's it. It will not check the last element again. It will stop at the second last, alright? And now it gets its second highest number, that is 66. Let's move ahead again. Now we have 1, 7, 33, 66, and 99. So let's say it'll again start. I'm not just drawing the entire array form. Y'all can get it. So you have 1 and 7, no change. Move forward, 7 and 33, no change. Now it will not check both of them because it's already sorted, right? Next, you have 1, 7, 33, 66, 99. And lastly, it only checks 1 and 7. and it excludes all of these three. And finally, you have your sorted array. Okay, you pretty much sorted it. And now let's see how many iterations we actually had to perform. So you basically have two for loops here. So you have the first iteration happening, right? First iteration, then we got the second iteration, third and fourth, right? So we have 4 outer iterations in total. And how many numbers do we have in the array? Can you all count that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now here is the thing. You always have n-1 iterations being performed. Why n-1? Because the last element is always excluded, since it gets sorted each time one outer iteration gets completed. So since you have 5 elements here, there will be compulsory 4 iterations, that is n-1. And that's the entire idea about bubble sort that you needed. Now you can go ahead and start coding. Alright, so now coming to the implementation part. The amount of code that you see on the screen at the moment, that's it. Like, that's all you have to perform to make bubble sort work on an array. Now, here's the array, a predefined one, but again, as I had mentioned, it's always advisable to take user inputs and make it a little dynamic rather than having static stuff going on. So again, you have an unsorted list and you pass the array to the bubble sort function. Now let's concentrate on the function. You firstly calculate the length of the array, because that's obviously something we'll need so as to iterate through it. Now the first outer loop that you see, remember I had spoken about 2 for loops coming into play. This is it. So for I in range n-1, this is something we already know the logic behind. Now let's actually concentrate on the second loop. Okay, so you see this weird number here that j is ranging from 0 up to n-i-1. Now, why is this happening? Where is this coming from? Well, you remember the concept that we just saw pictorially, that the last element always gets left out since it automatically gets sorted as the highest number found in each iteration. That basically is the job here. For example, if I was 1, in this case, or let's say it was 0, because it's ranging from n-1, 0 to n-1, and how many elements do we have here? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 minus 0 minus 1, so basically 6. So I, or rather say j, will range from 0 up to 6. Okay, because automatically at the end, the highest element will get sorted. So it does not have to look into that aspect anymore. Now this is basically your swapping area. So for example, 7 and 33, nothing would have happened. But 33 and 29, we would have had to swap it in this case, right? You're always checking the adjacent value nodes, okay? So everything beside it, 7, 33, 33, 29, 29, 1, and so on. Obviously, the numbers will get swapped, so you need to look out for that. Now, if array of j is less than array of j plus 1, for example, it was 33 and 29, you would have swapped it. So array of j and j plus 1, that is the exact consecutive node, the adjacent node, you swap it, right? You all understand this, the swapping part. And that's basically it. And after that, we come out here and we print the sorted array. And our work is done. The array is globally changed, so you don't have to return or let's say print it in the function itself. And we're done. You just formulate it a little bit so that it looks all nice and pretty. Now let's run it. And there you go, just a moment. Okay, so here's your sorted array ranging. It's all nice and in the ascending order, right? What if you wanted it in the descending order? You would only basically have to change this condition. That is, it'll go from greater to the least number. All right, that's all about bubble sort. Pretty simple, but not the most convenient one. We'll look at much better sorting algorithms, which will be coming up soon. So stay tuned. Bye-bye.